What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, this is just a continuation, part two of my last video. I ran out of time, so there's a couple things I had to say regarding it. It was regarding Adrien Broner, and is he ducking a 140-pound division? Aside from everything I said in the first video, is I highly doubt he's going to stay at welterweight for a fight, like future fights. I think he'll definitely come back down to either 135 or 140. I see it as I don't know. I watch a lot of crime, drama, and forensic files, that type of show. First 48 hours. They have crimes of passion and crimes of opportunity. And I think this is kind of a crime of opportunity. Broner would be foolish to go against someone like a Jose at 140 pound when there's nothing really to be gained other than respect from beating a Jose. Just like, okay, a Jose is a good fighter, but he doesn't have a belt and he doesn't really bring a fan base. So people complained about the Gavin Reese fight, saying, who the hell is this dude? I told you in my prediction video, I didn't even know who Gavin Reese was. So he doesn't get a fight with Gavin Reese, or excuse me, he gets a fight with Gavin Reese, and fans are complaining that he's fighting a nobody, a no name, someone who doesn't have a name or their name doesn't hold any weight. Yet the only people that I could think of that are available, and someone actually tried to argue this with me, at 140-pound division that can fight in June would be someone like a Jose, because I don't know who he's fighting. I don't know if he has an opponent. So that's fucking ridiculous. It makes no sense for him to fight a Jose who doesn't, another opponent who doesn't have a large U.S. fan base and is coming off a loss to Lucas Matisse, a destructive loss because he got TKO'd. It makes no sense. Is it a fight I would watch? Hell yeah, I'd watch it because a Jose gained my respect in the Lucas Matisse fight. But it's a fight that does not make sense, and you got to understand that boxing is a job for people and it is a business, because Adrien Broner, he has a lot of kids. I think he has like 5 kids or more, and he's very young. So I mean, he has to take care of his family. So why would he not take the fight with Paulie Malignaggi, who is going to be able to bring in some level of a crowd, especially at the Barclays? Paulie Malignaggi is a commentator on Showtime, so his face is seen regularly. And he's from Brooklyn. He's from New York. And the Barclays is a new stadium in New York. Why would he not jump up 2 weight classes to fight this guy? That makes more sense. Whether you don't want to see it because you think Paulie Malignaggi doesn't have a chance or not, it's a crime, or it's a fight of opportunity. There's no one really available in the 140-pound division that can fight in June. He needs an opponent to stay active. So he's fighting somebody in a higher division, and that's not good enough. So it's, again, until you see him fight Brandon Rios or Lucas Matisse or whoever you think can beat him or whoever you want to beat him, some of you guys will not be content. Again, he fights Gavin Reese. Who is this? He's a nobody. He's a bum. So he doesn't really have many opportunities of people he can actually fight that's feasible in June. So he goes to another weight division, 147, and then you say he's ducking the 140-pound division as a whole. This is one fight. Roy Jones didn't stay at heavyweight when he got a heavyweight title after he beat John Ruiz. He didn't just stay up at 150. He went back down in weight. So, again, what makes you think Broner's afraid of the 140-pound division when that remains to be seen? He hasn't even beat Paulie Malignaggi. The fight hasn't even taken place, but you just know he's going to stay at 147? Come on, get real. Again, it's a fight that makes business sense. It's a fight that will draw in a crowd, and it's a fight that can be made, that's realistic to be made. Brandon Rios is not a realistic fight to be made in June, especially with the long-standing beef between Golden Boy and Top Rank. There's no way you can argue that. It's a fight I would love to see. Trust me, I would love to see it. I like Brandon Rios a lot. I like Adrien Broner a lot. I want to see it, but it's not a realistic fight. Some of you guys don't live in a real world. You guys should go to the new movie Oz or whatever the shit's called with James Franco, because that's the land in which you live in. It's some kind of fantasy. Like, oh, he's scared. He's ducking Lucas Matisse. Lucas Matisse is most likely facing Lamont Peterson for a unification fight. So, again, it makes no sense. Some of you guys hate Broner so much, you'll never, ever be content. It's always going to be a problem. No pun intended. So that's basically the gist of the video. The other thing I'm hearing is he'll get destroyed at 140 based on the Gavin Reese fight. But you guys got to really understand that styles make fights. I mean, Chris John beat Marquez, and so did Floyd Mayweather, and then Marquez destroyed. Um, he destroyed Manny Pacquiao in their last outing. It's different styles. Chris John fights in a different style than Manny Pacquiao. So you really can't control it. Gavin Reese is the type of fighter who looks like he has a chin because he didn't get knocked out cold, and he was taking some shots. So Gavin Reese is a type of fighter who it looked like he was balls to the walls and all guts and glory, and he just was very prideful, and he came out in round one with bad intentions and trying to make it the best fight possible. He has a lot of heart. I would definitely give it to him. But heart's only going to take you so far, and that's what happened in that particular fight. As soon as Adrien Broner turned it up a notch, it was just too much, and he overwhelmed Gavin Reese. But anyway, I don't think that's an indication of what every fighter is going to be able to do, and I don't think every fighter is going to have that certain game plan. Like most other fighters might be more sensible, like, hey, round one, let me feel this guy out for his speed and power. Gavin Reese just said fuck it and just came out swinging and bringing the fight to them. A lot of people, other people, aren't going to in round one and two open up completely and just come swinging. Plus, another thing with Gavin Reese that I think personally, a lot of people were complaining that he was short. I mean, he knew his height when they signed on the contract, so I don't want to hear that. Mike Tyson knocked out plenty of people who were way taller than him. It's boxing is a sport based on weight divisions. On fight night, even they both weighed 150 or 151. So as far as the height, I don't want to hear that. Nonito Donaire fought Jeffrey Matabula, excuse me, who was damn near 6 feet tall. Floyd Mayweather fought a 6 feet tall Diego Corrales, and they both beat their opponents. So I don't want to hear that shit about, oh, he's taller and he's shorter. Again, it's based on weight divisions. And in my opinion, I honestly believe this. Gavin Reese's style plus his height actually worked more to his benefit than it did against him. A lot of people are like, oh, it's an unfair fight. Adrien Broner's back is bigger. That's stupid. It don't matter how big your back is. And remember, it depends on your chin, your game plan, all kinds of shit. It doesn't depend on how wide your back is. So just because someone noticeably looks more muscular, that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of guys I can name off the top of my head that don't look muscular, but they'll give you the fight of your life. I mean, James Toney. James Toney is one of the. His body never looked like. Evander Holyfield had a way doper, way more cut, built looking physique. But again, this is sport of boxing. Look what James Toney did to Evander Holyfield. It doesn't matter what your build is. I mean, if anything, muscles can actually slow you down. It just depends on your natural attributes and what you work on and that kind of thing and your natural gifts. Anyway, Gavin Reese's height worked to his advantage, in my opinion, because it became a target. Instead of someone being like Antonio DeMarco, who I think was the same height as Broner, that's in his eye level. That's like a more of a natural, like if he wants to throw out a jab, he'll probably hit DeMarco. They're about the same height. But Gavin Reese was highly feisty and he's shorter, so it becomes an adjustment. That's something you have to adjust to, the fact that somebody is crafty, faster than you expected, and they're shorter. You have to change your trajectory. So it's just a quick boxing lesson. Don't want to hear this shit about everybody's going to come out and Gavin Reese was exposing him, but he still lost. Like, you guys say some of the most outlandish stuff. How do you get exposed in the first two rounds when none of the punches, and this is not taking anything away from Gavin Reese, but nothing that Gavin Reese did in rounds 1 or 2 was even remotely close to the punishment he took in the following rounds? There's nothing that he did. He hit Adrien Broner more times than he's been hit, but it didn't look like he was in any trouble of getting knocked out. And if you feel that he was in in danger of getting knocked out, please let me know what round and what time frame I should be looking at because I didn't see anything that he did. I was just like, okay, this dude's coming out to fight. That's good. But I didn't see anything that had Broner staggered or whatever. And again, styles make fights. Everyone fights different. If Broner was to fight Lucas Matisse or anybody, whoever, they're not going to necessarily come out in the same fashion that Gavin Reese came out. So I don't want to hear it. Broner fought, if he fought Rios, I highly doubt Brandon Rios in round one is going to come out exactly how Gavin Reese did. Because if you watch it, and Brandon Rios is a pressure fighter, but he's not as fast as Gavin Reese. So Brandon Rios is going to have to adjust to the speed of Broner, who definitely has a speed advantage in that fight. It would be a hell of a fight. I'd love to see it, but again, I just don't buy this. Adrien Broner's ducking the whole 140-pound division, especially when it's one fight. You don't know what he decides to do after because that moment hasn't come yet. And nobody that nobody that I've seen in terms of comments is available to fight in June out of the 140-pound division. And then what else is there? Ricky Burns. Broner's trying to make a Ricky Burns fight for ages now. He wasn't even supposed to fight Gavin Reese. For you guys that are fight fans, you should know this. Gavin Reese was a substitute opponent because Ricky Burns declined the contract that he was sent and didn't want to fight, basically. Then Ricky Burns was supposed to fight Vasquez, what I was looking forward to that too, and he pulled out of that fight. So we don't even know if that fight, because I heard he pulled out, not postponed like the Danny Garcia Zab Judah. I heard he pulled out completely. So who knows if that'll fight will happen. He could fight Miguel Vasquez or Richard Abril, but those two people don't have as big of a name as Paulie Malignaggi. Broner's after fame. He's after money. Like, he's trying to build up his brand. I mean, I don't blame him. I don't like if you had a choice to work at two different places and one is going to pay you a substantial amount of money more and it's a better look for your career, it's something better for your resume. If Broner beats Richard Abril, if that's on his resume versus him beating Paulie Malignaggi, I think Paulie Malignaggi would be a better mark on his resume. And realistically, how can you argue for a Broner versus Richard Abril fight, but you're against him moving up 2 weight classes to fight Paulie Malignaggi? Here's a news flash. Richard Abril has no power either. Richard Abril is a crafty fighter, and he's tall, but he doesn't have power. He doesn't have power. So you want to see him fight a powerless fighter at 135 because you think he's more elusive or taller or whatever than Paulie Malignaggi, but you don't want to see Broner move up 2 weight classes to fight another light puncher in 2 weight classes higher. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's basically it. I'm done with my rant. Abril, Paulie Malignaggi, both fighters have no power, and one's at the current weight that he's already fighting, and one's 2 weight classes up. So you tell me what's a bigger challenge or what means more. And again, back to the fan base. Let me know what you guys think. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.